Hello there. Today we'll be doing number 70 of our Neetcode, and we're to be doing design Twitter. It is a very difficult problem, and you'll see why soon. Oh, you don't see the problem. There we go. Design Twitter. Okay. So what is this problem, and why is it so difficult? So what we're going to do is to post tweets, get newsfeed, follow and unfollow users. So let's get it. So to follow users, the reason why we need to keep track of users who we follow is because when we get the news feed, we want to get everything that's posted by our current user and all of his or her followers. And that's very important because that's the sort of news that we want. And when we post tweets, we want all of the tweets to be in the newsfeed. So the first idea that I had was that I would store all the tweets in a heap per user. So all the tweets from a user or followee ID will go into a heap for that user. If the user has that follower, right? And then that way I can directly pull from the heap the 10 items from that heap. But the problem comes along when we have to loop through an entire heap to destroy the tweets that when we unfollow the followee. I mean, that's a lot of tweets to unfollow, and it would be horrendous if, let's say, I mean, another solution would be to like ignore tweets from these people from now on, but create another list. But that's like a lot of. I mean, suppose we have 1,000 tweets, and then we have to get through 1,000 tweets just to get to the tweet that we want to see. So when we unfollow someone, that's just not feasible. Also, we're also spending more permanent space to store multiple tweets for the same user, because each user has this huge heap, permanent heap of items that with all of their followees tweets, and that's just so much more space. So the way to do it instead is to store all the tweets for the user and have each user have followee IDs. That way we can pull all these hash sets. I mean, this list of tweets from all the users, put them together, and then find out which one is the most common first, and by giving a count when which tweet this is. With that, we can get it's like a merge sort, but we're using a heap, and that would be let's say k time, because we're looking through each item and we're just adding them to a heap and pulling out the one that is going to be the most I guess the most recent. And with that, we solved both problems of deleting all the items in the heap that belongs to a particular follower that we unfollowed, and the permanent space that we needed. So now with that, we solved all these problems, and I think it's a very good solution. So let's code it up. This particular solution was I look through watch Neetcode's video, and I recommend you watch it too, but it doesn't make too much sense in this particular video. I think this is just like a supplementary. I mean, I don't know. It's my take on this particular way of explaining the particular problem. So in this particular problem, we're going to have a self.follower map, which is equal to a default dict of a list. A set, because we want a set of followers, because that way we can insert them and delete them easily. We don't want to search over n time. So that's going to make it a lot easier. And we want a tweet map to get all the tweets for each user ID so that we can collect all of them. Okay, and we want one more thing. We want the count. Self.count is equal to 0. The reason why we're going to set it to 0 is because we're going to use a min heap, and the smaller the item, that means the more recent it is, and the more you're pulling items from a min heap, you want to use negative items. Yeah. Anyways, let's get the follow and unfollow option done first. So self. This is pretty easy. Follower map at follower ID. We want to add the followee ID, and that's it. That's a pretty simple line of code. For unfollow, we need to make sure that the followee ID is inside this particular follower map at follower ID in this particular set of followees, because if it's not, we have a problem. So anyways, we could also do a try and catch, and we don't do anything to catch block, but that's fine too. Okay, so what we're gonna do is self.follower map, and we're gonna remove follower map at the particular ID, because each of these are the key to the set. Remove this from the set, followee ID. With that, we have done the follower and the following. Now we just need to add all the items for each user. So to do that, we do a self.tweet map. Every time a user tweets, we go to their user ID, and we're not append the tweet ID. Of course, we're not just doing the tweet ID. We gotta get self.count and add that as well. Let's make this as a tuple so it's easier for us to move around. A good way to do this would be to do an enum as well. Yeah, that would store it in the object that we not enum, sorry, a class, and take that class as a time and the tweet ID. But this works just fine. So self count minus equals 1. Okay, with that, I think we can get our news feeds. So newsfeed is our newsfeed that we're gonna return, and we also have a min heap to store the most recent the most recent items from all the lists of followees. So for follow ID in follower map dot at the user ID. One more thing is that we're trying to get the user ID as well, and there's no better way to put it than here. The reason being, no matter where you add it, we're gonna have to add the user ID, and well, actually, it's not the best place, because we might be getting the newsfeed multiple times, and we might be, posting a lot. I don't know, we might be following a lot, and we might be unfollowing a lot. I don't know when exactly we should do this. Maybe when we initialize the user, that we should do it. But when do we initialize the user? We don't initialize the user. We don't ever initialize the user. The user just kind of poofs into existence when they post a tweet. Yeah, there's no one-time thing. So we're just gonna add it here. So this is not good coding practice, of course. I mean, I really don't know where to put it. I mean, there's only two places where we post tweets and where we get news feeds, where we get user IDs, and those are only functions we're calling. And this is a make-believe world, so we need to just append, just add user ID here to the follower map, or we could rewrite the code to be more clear. But this particular piece of code, as you will see, collects all the items. Well, actually, yeah. Let's do this more properly. So let's collect all the items in our main heap. Min heap is equal to dot append. Let's append all the tweets from append the most recent tweet from the follower ID. So the most recent tweet is going to be the count, and the tweet ID is equal to the tweet map of the followee ID, and with that we get the most recent item, which is the -1, or better yet, we should get the index recent index, because we know we're talking about tweets, so most recent index should work. So we want the length of the tweet map of the tweet map -1. That would be the most recent index. Let's take that. And well, now that we have this, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna store the count. So that's what we're gonna be min heaping by. We need the tweet ID because that's an important piece of information. We need the followee ID because we want to go back to the tweet map and grab the next one. And we want the most recent index -1. We want that because we want the next item. So after we append all of these items from each particular followee ID, we also need to do this for the user ID. So we would have to redo this, all this code one time for the user ID, or we can add the user ID to the following map. I think adding the user ID to the following map makes more sense here. So follower map dot append user ID. Well, that's code. So okay. Anyways, onward. So while we have the min heap and the length of the results is less than 10. Let's continue. Let's keep grabbing items from the main heap and appending it to our results, as well as finding the next most recent item and adding it to a main heap. So first of all, let's get the item then. So count tweet ID, followee ID, and the next index is equal to the heap queue dot heap top of the min heap. So that's our most recent item, the smallest item, and with that item, we're going to append the tweet ID to our list, and then if the next index is greater than or equal to 0, that's only time we want to add this next index into our min heap, and we should access it, because if it is less than 0, then it might not exist. So let's get this item. So the count, the tweet ID, the followee ID, and the next index is equal to, actually that's not right, we're just getting this much information. So we want the follow tweet map of this followee ID, and we want the item, the index, so next index, and after getting that, let's grab the next item and throw it into the heap. So count tweet ID followee ID, and the next index -1, and let's put that whole thing into the min heap dot heap push. We're no longer appending anymore because it's become a heap. We have to do a heap push. So heap q dot heap push of the min heap of this particular item. And with that, after all is done, we should have either exhausted our min heap, or we would have 10 items, so we return results. Let's run. Let's see what happens. So this is a problem because I did not write self here for these items. Let's see if I have missed that somewhere else. Looks like I haven't missed it. Let's see about tweet map. Maybe I missed it somewhere. Right. And tweet map of the followee ID. And this is self.tweet map as well. And let's see if I forgot anything. Tweet map is wrong. And anything else? I don't think so. This looks good. Let's run it. Of course, there's a lot of code here. Self.followermap.append. So follower map for user ID. Append the user ID. Okay, user ID. Damn. A lot of typos here. Set.add. Come on now. Okay, what's happening here? Remove followee ID, follower map, follower ID, followee. Oh, is that? Oh, that's spelled wrong. A lot of typos going on here. This happens a lot. Oh, that's not good. So what did we forget, and why did this not work? So aha. Let's see. I thought I saw something there, but I didn't. I don't think there's anything wrong. What is wrong here is that it's out of order, it looks like. So let me pull my notes, see what's going on here. Because I don't think I messed up anywhere. That's the problem. I did not heapify the heap. So that's a very dubious error. If that very much goes. In, the face of things. What happened here? Out of range? Oh, right. So we need to make sure follow we ID. We need the tweet map to have a followee ID, to have items before we do this. Otherwise, it's not possible. So right, self.tweetMap. As you can see, this is the problem when you don't actually write any Python code in production, and you just write Python code for algos. So it looks like it worked. It's a little slower than usual. Let's run it one more time. I don't know where exactly it slowed down. It's running slower and slower as we speak. Yeah, really don't know why is it much slower. But it is solving the problem. I guess these are just different test sets, and they give different results. So here we are. This is the result of our work, and let me just remove my face because it's getting in the way. Oh, wrong one. Okay. So in this particular code, what did we learn is that if we are dealing with if we're building out some data structures, is that we don't want to have multiple pieces of data in multiple places, because that makes it hard to manage. We want all the data to be in one place, and want our data to be easily accessible using another piece of data. And that what we learned here is that the tweet map and the follower map allows us to do that, because when we look at getting newsfeed, we were able to get every single follower and get all their tweets from the followers and develop our return a particular result where we have all the most recent tweets by gathering all the tweets from each person and looking only at the most recent tweet. And this takes let's say 10 like 10 times, because no, actually it's not 10, it's the number of followers we have, because we're looking at each particular follower and times 10, which is basically the number of followers, so okay, followers. So this makes it much easier to manage and easier for us to delete. So look at these follow and unfollow functions, very simple. And look at our post tweet function, very simple. We put all the complexity in the get newsfeed function here. And that's a very smart way of doing it, of laying out the code and other things. So one thing is can we simplify this code for more usability in other code? And the answer is yes, of course. The thing here is this followee map thing, where we're building the min heap, and this particular user ID. So I'm looking at it, and we want to send back a min heap of items for all the followers and the user. But are we going to use this elsewhere? We're not, so we don't need to make that simplification yet. Otherwise, yeah, I think it looks good. If you have any opinions, please comment below and let me know what you think about this method. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. If you want more, check the link in the description below. And thank you very much for watching. And have a good one. See ya.